The annual City Elite Charity Gala was the most high-end social event of the year. Held at the five-star Imperial Grand Hotel, it gathered wealthy businessmen, celebrity socialites, and top-tier elites from all over the city. Every attendee wore custom luxury gowns, limited edition jewelry, and designer accessories, using every detail to showcase their status and wealth. Ordinary people could never obtain an invitation to this closed-door gala. Even wealthy families needed 10 years of accumulation and social connections to qualify for a single admission ticket. In everyone's eyes, this grand banquet was a symbol of upper-class status and prestige. I'm Lin Shend. I was invited to the gala as a volunteer staff member. I deliberately wore a plain white casual dress worth less than $100, no makeup, no jewelry, blending into the corner of the luxurious venue like an ordinary service staff. All the wealthy guests whispered and glanced at me with disdain, thinking I was just a poor volunteer who got in through temporary recruitment, unworthy of stepping foot in such a high-end occasion. No one knew my true identity. I was the mysterious sole owner of the entire Imperial Grand Hotel Group, the behind-the-scenes controller of this top luxury hotel, and the largest sponsor of this elite charity gala. This magnificent banquet hall, the billions-worth hotel building, and all the elite honors everyone craved were all under my name. I chose to disguise myself as a volunteer simply to relax and watch the upper-class farce quietly. I was tired of the constant flattery and fawning from the elite circle, wanting to experience the most ordinary perspective of this glamorous world. My so-called best friend Xiao Man was the complete opposite. She was born into an ordinary middle-class family, but she was extremely vain and obsessed with squeezing into the upper class. She spent all her family's savings to rent a tens of thousands of dollars luxury gown and fake diamond jewelry, just to pretend to be a wealthy socialite at the gala. We had been friends for 6 years. I had always treated her sincerely, helped her solve difficulties repeatedly, and never looked down on her ordinary family background. But she had always secretly envied and resented me. She thought my calm temperament and innate poise overshadowed her vanity, and she had long been waiting for a chance to step on me and elevate herself. As soon as Xiao Man entered the venue, she became the focus of a small circle of socialites. Surrounded by compliments, she was floating with pride. When she caught sight of me standing quietly in the corner in cheap clothes, her eyes turned cold with malice. She walked straight towards me in front of many wealthy guests and socialites, raising her voice deliberately to ensure everyone around could hear clearly, starting a public humiliation without mercy. Lin Shun, what are you wearing? You actually came to the elite gala in such shabby cheap clothes? Are you here to embarrass me? She looked me up and down with extreme disdain, her tone full of superiority and mockery. I told you long ago to save money and buy a decent dress for the gala. You're so poor that you can't even afford a $1,000 outfit. Look at all the ladies here. Everyone wears luxury brands and limited jewelry. You're the only one who looks like a messy cleaner. The surrounding socialites and wealthy guests immediately stopped talking and turned to look at us, their eyes full of ridicule and contempt. Xiao Man became more arrogant when she saw the crowd watching. She reached out and tugged at my plain dress fiercely, the malice on her face undisguised. You're my friend, yet you dress so shabbily to attend such a high-end banquet. Do you want others to think I'm also poor and low class? Hurry up and leave. Don't ruin the elite atmosphere here. I worked so hard to squeeze into the upper-class circle, and you almost ruined all my efforts with your poor and tacky appearance. Many onlookers whispered and laughed, mocking me for being overconfident, daring to attend an elite gala in cheap clothes, and dragging down my friend's grade. Facing the public ridicule and her ruthless trampling, I stood quietly without anger or panic. I just looked at her vain and ugly face indifferently. I had always thought sincerity could exchange for true friendship, but I never expected that my low-key and simplicity would become her tool to show off and bully me. Xiao Man thought I was ashamed and speechless, so she took out a few $100s in cash from her clutch and threw it heavily on my chest, the banknotes scattering all over the ground. Take this money to buy a decent dress. Don't show up in front of me again in such shabby clothes. It's embarrassing just looking at you. This humiliating action made the surrounding laughter louder. Xiao Man raised her chin proudly, enjoying the pleasure of stepping on me to gain face. Lin Shun admitted, "You're just a poor, ordinary person who can never blend into the upper class. The gap between us is something you can never cross in your entire life." Hashtag rising conflict. After humiliating me publicly, Xiao Man completely became the proud center of the small circle. All the vain socialites gathered around her, praising her beautiful gown and elegant temperament, complimenting her on being a real elite lady. Xiao Man completely forgot who had accompanied her through her hardest days, who had helped her pay her tuition when her family was in trouble, and who had kept her company when she was isolated. She just kept showing off her fake wealth, belittling me repeatedly in front of others, and spreading rumors that I was lazy, incompetent, and born poor with no elite temperament. She even posted a photo of my shabby back on her social media, with a mocking caption, "Some people don't know their own status," insisting on squeezing into circles that don't belong to them. Poverty is not only in pockets, but also in vision. Her post gained countless likes and comments. Many people who didn't know the truth mocked me for overestimating myself, while Xiao Man gained a lot of praise for her so-called elegant, elite demeanor. Throughout the entire gala, she enjoyed endless admiration and vanity, firmly believing that she had completely crushed me and stepped out of the shadow of my friendship. She even boasted to the surrounding guests confidently, "I'm very familiar with the person in charge of Imperial Grand Hotel. I can get permanent VIP privileges here at any time." Unlike some people who can only sneak in as volunteers. Listening to her ridiculous boasting, I just smiled faintly. She was showing off her trivial temporary VIP access in front of the absolute owner of the entire hotel. Her carefully packaged elite identity was just a ridiculous joke in my eyes. Since she loved vanity and face so much, I would completely shatter her false glory in front of everyone tonight. Hashtag explosion. The gala's highest tide arrived. The hotel's general manager led all senior executives, walking quickly through the luxurious banquet hall, preparing to respectfully invite the hotel's top hidden boss to the stage to deliver a closing speech. All the wealthy guests and socialites instantly fell silent, standing up respectfully, full of anticipation and awe. No one had ever seen the true face of Imperial Grand Hotel's mysterious owner, who held the entire city's top luxury hotel resources in his hands. Xiao Man also stood excitedly, craning her neck to look forward, and whispered arrogantly to the people beside her, "Wait a minute, I can say hello to the general manager. He's my acquaintance." Just as she was complacent and ready to show off her connections, the entire group of senior executives walked straight past her, ignoring her completely. Under the stunned gaze of the entire audience, the high-ranking general manager walked quickly to my side, bent over deeply at 90 degrees, and shouted respectfully with a trembling voice, "Welcome back, President Lin. All hotel staff are waiting for your instructions." Boom. The entire banquet hall exploded in an instant. Dead silence was followed by earth-shaking uproar. All the wealthy elites, socialites, and guests stared at me with wide eyes, their faces full of incredible shock and disbelief. The poor volunteer in cheap clothes that everyone mocked, the silly poor girl humiliated by Xiao Man, was the mysterious top boss of Imperial Grand Hotel, the supreme ruler of this entire luxury venue. Xiao Man's proud smile froze completely on her face, her whole body trembled violently, her legs went weak, and she almost collapsed to the ground. Her face turned pale as paper, and her eyes were filled with extreme panic and despair. The general manager stood straight beside me, glanced coldly at the stunned Xiao Man, and took the initiative to expose everything. This entire hotel, all banquet venues, and all gala resources are fully owned by President Lin. She is the sole investor and absolute controller of our group. I walked forward slowly, my cold eyes sweeping over Chow Man's terrified face, and my clear voice resounded throughout the entire venue. You said I'm poor and tacky? This dress I wear is casual and low-key by choice, not because I can't afford luxury. I own every inch of land in this hotel, every luxury item displayed here. You threw cash at me to humiliate me, showing off your fake elite identity. Do you still think the gap between us is insurmountable? Xiao Man's mind went completely blank. She stared at me blankly, all her vanity and arrogance shattered into dust in an instant. The connections she boasted about, the elite status she packaged, the glory she showed off, all relied on the venue that belonged to me. She had spent all her savings to rent a fake luxury identity to humiliate the real top boss. It was the most ridiculous and humiliating joke in the entire elite circle. #final reversal. Xiao Man completely collapsed. She rushed forward in panic, tears streaming down her face, grabbing my arm and begging bitterly. Lin Shen, I'm wrong. I was blind and vain. I didn't know your identity. I was confused for a moment and humiliated you. Please forgive me. Don't ruin me. All the surrounding socialites who had mocked me just now lowered their heads in shame, not daring to look up at me. The wealthy guests looked at Xiao Man with extreme contempt, completely disgusted by her snobbish and hypocritical behavior. I shook off her hand coldly, my tone without a trace of warmth. You insulted me publicly, spread rumors to slander me, and trampled on our 6 years of friendship for trivial vanity. Every bit of your humiliation was intentional, not accidental. I turned to look at the general manager and gave my cold order. First, permanently blacklist Xiao Man from all hotels and undergroup industries of Imperial Grand. She is prohibited from entering any of our venues for life, completely cutting off her access to all upper-class social occasions. Second, issue a public statement in the elite circle to clarify her hypocritical behavior of renting luxury clothes to fake socialite status and humiliating others, letting everyone see her true face. Third, revoke all her temporary access privileges and permanently reject any cooperation and contact with her. Yes, President. Execute immediately. The general manager responded respectfully. Xiao Man wailed on the spot, her whole body trembling with despair. Her hard-earned social connections, her carefully packaged elite reputation, her dream of squeezing into the upper class, all were completely destroyed in an instant. From today on, she became the laughingstock of the entire city's elite circle. No wealthy family would associate with her, no high-end venue would admit her, and all her vanity and pretense were completely shattered. After dealing with the farce, I walked calmly onto the stage under the respectful gaze of all the elites. I didn't need luxury gowns or diamond jewelry to set off my status. My innate aura and absolute strength were the most noble glory. I looked down at the noisy crowd below the stage and said calmly, True elite status lies in self-cultivation and inner poise, not external luxury and vanity. Those who bully the weak and fawn on the strong, and trample on others to elevate themselves, will eventually be abandoned by all circles. Low-key is my choice, not my inferiority. Simplicity is my temperament, not my poverty. I never take the initiative to show off my glory, but I will never allow anyone to trample on my dignity wantonly. Vanity and snobbery will eventually destroy oneself, and only sincerity and strength can last forever. The gala ended perfectly. All elite stood up and applauded sincerely, full of awe and admiration for me. From then on, no one dared to judge me by my appearance, and no vain villain dared to humiliate me at will. I hold my own strength and glory, walking freely and domineeringly in every circle.